In the academic circles of the Galactic Council, there was a term that older species used when they thought humans were not listening.
Space orcs.
It was not meant kindly. In the folklore of a dozen civilizations, orcs were the creatures that existed at the edges of the known world. Massive, violent, impossible to reason with, built for destruction and nothing else. The term had started as a joke among xenobiologists about 40 years after humanity joined the council. A private observation shared between researchers comparing species, physical capabilities. It stopped being a joke very quickly. The first researcher to use it, seriously, was a Valori scientist named Dr. Prak. She was studying comparative biology across council species, trying to understand why different civilizations had developed such different physical forms. Most species had evolved toward efficiency, smaller bodies, less energy consumption, specialized senses for their specific environments. Humans had evolved toward something else entirely. Dr. Prak spent 3 years compiling her research. When she finally published her findings, the title was simply this: On the Subject of Humanity, a Biological Anomaly in the Known Galaxy. The opening paragraph read as follows: In reviewing the physical characteristics of all 4,012 known intelligent species, this researcher has identified one civilization that does not fit any established evolutionary model. The species known as humanity appears to have been optimized through a process we do not fully understand for one specific purpose. That purpose is, by any reasonable scientific definition, war. The paper caused immediate controversy. Several human representatives to the council objected formally. Dr. Prak stood by every word, because the data was impossible to argue with. The data began with pain tolerance. In comparative testing across council species, the average pain threshold varied significantly. The Krath, widely considered the most physically formidable warrior species in the council, had a threshold roughly 3 times higher than the galactic average. Humans had a threshold 11 times higher than the galactic average. 11. But that was not the finding that troubled Dr. Prak the most. The most troubling finding was what humans did with pain. Every other species in the known galaxy responded to severe pain the same way: withdrawal, protective behavior, a neurological shutdown of non-essential functions to concentrate resources on survival. Humans responded differently. In documented cases of extreme physical trauma, human subjects showed elevated aggression, increased focus, a narrowing of attention onto the source of the threat with a single-minded intensity that no other species had demonstrated. Pain for humans did not slow them down. It made them angry. Dr. Prak had included in her paper a direct quote from a human military doctor she had interviewed. The doctor had said it simply: "You have to understand something about humans in combat. Getting hurt does not stop us. It just reminds us that something needs to be dealt with." The paper continued with endurance. The average council species could sustain peak physical effort for between 4 and 12 minutes before requiring rest. Even the Krath reached exhaustion after approximately 20 minutes of maximum exertion. Human subjects in controlled testing sustained peak physical effort for over 2 hours. And then, when they finally stopped, they recovered. Not in days, not in weeks. The human body repaired muscle damage during sleep at a rate that other species did not reach even with medical intervention. They pushed themselves past the point of damage, rested, and came back stronger. Every time, Dr. Prak could have stopped at pain tolerance and endurance, and the findings would have been remarkable enough. She did not stop there. She documented the immune system next. Humans had been exposed to more pathogens, more parasites, more biological threats in their evolutionary history than almost any other known species. The result was an immune system of extraordinary complexity and adaptability. Diseases that would be fatal to most council species caused humans minor discomfort for a few days. A Valori diplomat had once watched a human colleague work through what humans casually called a cold, runny nose, tired eyes, slightly elevated temperature. The diplomat had later learned that the same pathogen, if transmitted to a Valori host, caused fatal neurological damage within 72 hours. The human had been mildly annoyed about missing a lunch meeting. Then came the section on sleep deprivation. The average council Species became cognitively impaired after missing one sleep cycle. After 2 missed cycles, basic decision-making degraded significantly. After 3, most species were functionally incapacitated. Humans had documented cases of functioning effectively after 6 consecutive missed sleep cycles, not functioning well, not performing at peak capacity, but functioning, making decisions, carrying out complex tasks, remaining dangerous. Dr. Prack included a footnote in this section that became one of the most discussed sentences in xenobiological literature. It is this researcher's professional opinion that a sleep-deprived, injured human running on pain and stubbornness alone is more functionally capable than a rested, healthy member of most council species at full capacity. The conclusion of the paper was surprisingly quiet given what had come before. Dr. Prack simply wrote this: humanity has spent 100,000 years becoming the most physically resilient species we have ever documented. They have done this not through genetic engineering or technological augmentation, but through the oldest and most brutal method available: survival. Every generation harder than the last. Every obstacle surmounted not by avoiding it, but by enduring it until it broke. She paused. What I find most remarkable is not the biology, it is the choice. This species, with everything their bodies are capable of, with every advantage their evolutionary history has given them, chose to sit down at a council table, chose to use words instead of weapons, chose every single day to be something other than what their biology prepared them to be. The final sentence of the paper had been quoted in every subsequent study of humanity, published in the 40 years since. The space orcs, it turns out, are also the most disciplined species we have ever encountered. Make of that what you will. In the council chambers, Sarah Chen was later asked what she thought of Dr. Prack's paper. She was quiet for a moment. I think Dr. Prack is a brilliant scientist, she said. And I think she missed the most important finding in her own data. What finding? We had all of that, she said quietly. All of it. Every advantage she documented. And we almost destroyed ourselves with it anyway. She paused. The biology was never the remarkable thing. The choice was the remarkable thing. She stood to leave. It still is. What happens when a wounded human, soldiers left behind enemy lines, and the aliens sent to finish the job discover exactly what they are dealing with? Next story coming soon. Subscribe to Human Protocol. You are only beginning to understand what humans really are.